Let's take time now to study each and every roles of estrogen so that we can pick now, we can put all those points we talked about estradiol or estrogen in a structural way. Now we are not going to see the synthetic estrogens. We're just going to see the natural estrogen, the one that is found in the body, in men and also in women. As if your facial expression looks as if there is no estrogen in men. We don't have. We do. That is why people who need to change their gender from men to female, just they need to increase their estrogen level and they start to show feminine characteristics. You understand? We'll talk about it as we move on. Estradiol is a major estrogen secreted by what? Ovary. We have said. Wonderful. And all of you write the following. It is synthesized from where? Heavily. The heavy synthesis for estradiol comes from the Graafian follicles. Am I communicated? That is why as a result, secondary to cancer or ovarian tumor, ovarectomy or surgical removal of the ovaries significantly reduces the blood levels of what? Estrogen. Am I communicating? Because the Graafian follicle, the corpus luteum, they are structures found where? Found in the ovaries. Am I communicating? The idea is where is estrogen secreted? Graafian follicle, corpus luteum, and what? Placenta. What is the source? What is the source? Is what? Cholesterol. Is that clear? From where do we get cholesterol? Now you think about foods, yes or no? Which foods are rich in cholesterol? Am I communicating? So foods rich in cholesterol, it could be plant. That is why we are also talking complementary medicine. Can you write plants with phytoestrogens? Now, the big discussion out there is about phytoestrogen. This plant is a phytoestrogen. This is rich in estrogen. It helps fertility. It boosts, boosts your estrogen level. There are many plants with a claim to have a phytoestrogen. Can you all say it, phytoestrogen? Phyto means estrogen-like things from plants. Plants rich in estrogen-like compounds. Okay. The idea is it is rapidly oxidized in the liver. Once synthesized to estrone and what? Estriol. Okay. All the three forms of estrogen, be it estradiol, estrone, or estriol, all of them are active, but the potent one is what? Estradiol is the potent one. So all synthetic estrogens are derivatives of estradiol. Descend from cholesterol, luteinizing hormone plays a major role in converting cholesterol to pregnenolone, which is a progen. That's why I say this has a role in synthesis of what? Dihydroepiandrosterone diode. This is still a precursor for synthesis of what? Testosterone. Am I communicating? The same pregnenolone will later on be converted to progesterone, which again comes to what? To testosterone. Am I communicating? That is why high progesterone means high progesterone synthesis or dihydroepiandrosterone is a source for testosterone production. Testosterone again will be converted by an enzyme, aromatase, to estradiol. And follicle stimulating hormone that earlier we have seen in the granulosa cells activates the conversion of androgen to estradiol. You remember the first slide we have said in granulosa cells FSH has a role in converting androgen to estradiol. That is aromatase. Are we good up to this point, colleagues? Yes? So this is a synthesis. So this synthesis now ends in estradiol. Let's see its effect. Now you have one answer for the earlier question. Daily secretion of estrogen in premenopausal women is what? 10 to 100 microgram. In postmenopausal, it reaches to nanograms. In premenopausal women, that is 10 to 100. However, this depends on the phase of what? The cycle. Yes or no? Phase of the cycle, meaning during follicular phase, during ovulation, there is peak level of what? Estradiol. We've said the secretion starts in Graafian follicle. After ovulation, corpus luteum takes, and during pregnancy, placenta starts to produce what? Estrogen. Now, this will tell you that estrogen role is beyond the menstrual cycle. Am I communicating? Because in pregnancy, that cycle is stopped. Am I communicating? Once if there is pregnancy, you don't see bleeding, you don't see that follicular phase, ovulation, that has been stopped. Then you will ask yourself, what did that estrogen do doing here? During what? Pregnancy by the placenta. Am I communicating? So that means estrogen has quite a number of metabolic functions on top of the menstruation cycle. It's very important at this point to appreciate the feedback inhibition. We said hypothalamus secretes what? GnRH. Here we have a receptor. Anterior pituitary secretes as a result of this signal LH and FSH. That goes to the ovary. Yes or no? Now the ovaries will secrete what? Estrogen, or the active estradiol. And we said estradiol will have a number of physiological effects by binding to estrogen receptor. We'll see. But it has a negative feedback. Read it. Exercise feedback inhibition of what? FSH and LH. Where? And again it says at, remember that one? Okay, good. By direct action on the pituitary, here, and also what? On the hypothalamus. Meaning, we have estrogen receptor, both in the anterior pituitary and hypothalamus, where estrogen will bind and inhibits the release of luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. Let's pause here. Very important information here. If you understand this, you understand contraceptives as a whole. You know, feedback mechanism is a kind of balance. Is that clear? Kind of balance. However, for this one, it's just like a break. The break happens. A break is where estradiol, read this one, at what? At what? Higher. When does that higher concentration comes? You see, normally, the amount of estrogens that will be released during that menstrual cycle is so optimum. Am I communicating? So that will not significantly inhibit the release of what? Estradiol. Now tell me, what happens if someone is given an estradiol tablet? Estradiol. Now synthetic. Tell me synthetic estradiol. Or contraceptives. In oral contraceptive pill, we have estrogen and progestin. Tell me, what will happen? How do these drugs work? Explain to your friend. Normal secretion of estrogen is how much? 10 to 100 microgram.